Good evening, everybody, and welcome into this episode of the Nerd Ensemble. My name is Don Kovac, one of your co-hosts, and my other more awesomer co-host is Mr. Brett Dean. Brett, how are you?
Hey, pretty good. I'm feeling slightly less salty than I was about 3 minutes ago, so I'm doing better. I'll change it
Uh,
to slightly salty old man.
okay, well, that's good. And if you can do that, then that's even more awesome. Um, so we are here this evening as we are 100% talking about today's iPhone event and Apple Watch event for 2023. Boy, I am stumbling on my words like a crazy person. So we're going to pretend that that's not happening and we're going to move on. Today, Apple announced its newest iPhones and Apple Watches at their keynote event online or in person for some people at Apple Park. And boy, man, I don't know. Have you gotten a chance to watch it?
I did watch it, yes.
Okay.
There were only a couple places where I scrubbed through because I was on a time crunch and I didn't have time to watch some of the animations and things like that between things. But for the most part, I stopped and took in the product announcements and things like they wanted me to. Um, yeah, it was unique in that I was expecting a straight up plain old school stream, and instead we kind of got the video dumped at us, which I don't think they've done before. Have they done that?
I didn't see that. I saw that it looked like a live stream and then the video was available pretty quickly after that.
Okay.
And I only noticed because um, it was playing in the background of my Mac, and I didn't notice for like 2 hours that it had been doing that.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was fun. But yes, I agree with you. It is most definitely like they have this thing down,
Hmm?
like really, really down. Although that Mother Nature sketch,
Oh man. Oh man.
I
What
mean,
was that? I know they're trying to flex their TV chops, but gosh, that was maybe not so good.
yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Little cringy. Little
But
cringy.
I mean, better that than them just standing there directly patting themselves on the back. Just more
Yeah.
trying to make it fun and different
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah, but whenever you get a bunch of old suits that are not actors trying to do that, it never ever 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 works. At least I have not seen an occasion where it does. I think
You folks heard it here.
Bill Gates has tried to do some of that kind of stuff before. It's always a disaster whenever these tech guys kind of jump in and do stuff like this.
Yeah, it's definitely not their forte.
Hmm.
But who are we to
Yeah,
say? We're just sitting here doing an internet show.
correct.
But what we are here to say is lots of words about what we saw. I mean, the video they're just really killing it for the most part in terms of the production and
Yeah.
how they're going about it. I mean, they're using some different sets now that they haven't used in the past, and it's just
Mhm.
um as opposed to watching them get up on a physical stage and doing like
Mhm.
this. I'm loving this. So they need to
Okay.
keep doing that, just maybe without the cringy self
Yeah,
congratulating moments.
I'll be the old man and say I would like a blend. I would like a stage presentation with intercut with pre-recorded segments. I think maybe that is the sweet spot, and I'm missing that live right now. Anything can go wrong kind of excitement. And I think maybe for me, that's where some of my excitement for the announcements has dwindled in the past few years since COVID. I like that risky stage presence of them coming out there. You get this electric atmosphere because they're nervous presenting. There's this whole history of tech presentations where things go wrong, and they have to either start over or just bail on the announcement or the presentation altogether. There's famous ones where Steve Jobs has gotten pissed and thrown stuff and yelled at his crew on stage. Definitely think there's the famous one where it happened to Microsoft while Conan O'Brien was narrating it, and he was making fun of them like right on the spot. So there is a history of that, and to me that's kind of exciting. It's kind of like watching a sporting event. You watch it for the mishaps as well as the great plays. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
So I miss a little bit of that.
I don't. But I mean, I love the way that you I love the way that you describe that.
Yeah.
Um and it's well, not just kind of like, well, just because that's how they used to do it. So
Hmm.
two thumbs up to you for going that direction.
Well,
Now
thank you.
I'm doing a different setup over here. I just want you to know you're still in the studio displays camera over here, but the screen, the pictures over here. And
Oh,
I've got
okay.
the show notes over here on the studio
That
display,
makes
and then I've
sense.
got the other info over here. So I'm gonna see how this works. If I need to abandon ship on that, I'm happy to, but we'll see how it works.
That's okay. I think anybody out there that's done a like a Zoom presentation, people listening right now, or have done a podcast like this before, it's like it's always weird to go back and watch it and watch your eyes looking somewhere else. So I've played around with a bunch of different things too, and I generally just try to keep everything lined up in front of me. Today I've got some stuff off to the side on another screen, but it like I want my eyes going to you, the people in the audience, and to Don. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I should have told you that in the pre-show, but
Yeah, it's
whatever.
okay.
It'll
All
be
right,
fine.
let's dig in, boss.
Yeah. So we'll start out with the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus.
Hmm.
Um, this is it to sum it up, to me, it's a nice incremental upgrade, and actually I think it's a really nicer incremental upgrade versus like 13 to 14 or 12 to 13. Like there's a lot of little nice things in here that I think um kind of make it a better year over year for the regular 15s. I'll say that. um So we've got the same two sizes we're looking at. We're looking at the 6.1-inch iPhone 15, and then the 6.7-inch iPhone 15 Plus. So the same sizes as compared to last year. If you look at that picture right on the screen, you can see straight away we now have the dynamic island coming over from the 14 Pro across the 15 lineup, which is really nice. Um, Brett, I know you're still on the 13,
Hmm.
so you haven't experienced
I have
dynamic,
no dynamic island experience whatsoever.
right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be this is
Hmm.
potentially going to be a big thing for you and a lot of other folks,
Hmm.
because it really does um, make things nicer in use on a daily basis. So, little widgets. I often will put the Cubs score as a live activity,
Oh,
and it
cool.
shows up there, lives in the dynamic island.
Hmm.
Or I know folks that are tracking their flights using Flighty, the app
Hmm.
Flighty. It'll show up there and live there while you're doing other things. Of course, when you're listening to audio or you have navigation going, you can easily click up in the dynamic island and access those things and get some updates in there that way. So it is a really nice thing, and certainly now that more models have it, I'm hoping that more third party developers
Hmm.
create stuff for it, as well as along with iOS 17, and that Apple continues to push it along really
I'm gonna have to
nicely.
come to you once I get my hands on one of these to see like what are the useful things that day to day daily driver kind of stuff. What would I want to use it for? because it seems cool. It seems like a nice
Yeah.
addition.
Yeah, there's just a lot of nice little things to it. So that's going to be really fun. Big surprise to me was now we're looking at the cameras and we can see that the 48 megapixel, or there, I should say, there's a quote new 48 megapixel main camera sensor on the uh, 15s. Um, I haven't been able to track down if it's the same sensor from the 14 Pro and Pro Max, or if it's kind of a new variation of that. I haven't been able to find that out yet, but either way, it is a noticeable upgrade from the
Hmm.
past. And those of you that are really excited about that kind of thing, it's really going to make taking photos a whole nother deal.
Hmm.
Um, in terms of because it has that, it can get into it'll use 48 megapixels in certain modes. As you can see, the HEIF Max mode, I think, is going to take advantage of all of that. Plus, what's nice is it's going to use the main camera as a semi telephoto lens. So you can now zoom into 2x and it will
Hmm.
um, expand out. Um, and use that way. So that's kind of a nice thing without adding that third
So
lens.
does does this mean that non-pro iPhone users will now get a little bit of a,
No,
optical
I
zoom, or no?
it in a sense it's basically cropping from what
Hmm.
I understand in that sense. And it's
Oh, that's
not doing the
dangerous.
full pro res.
Hmm.
Sorry, the pro raw. Sorry, pro raw shooting.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not going to be quite as good.
Hmm.
And obviously we'll have to see when we get these things in hand. Um, but it does definitely seem like it should be, without having a telephoto, a 2x telephoto lens in there. It might be kind of the next thing, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be doing some of that cropping stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So mileage may vary
Yeah.
on how clean it is going forward. Um, a couple other bits is it's gonna do some of that processing automatically, which is nice of that camera shooting. And of course, you can switch. It's gonna improve night mode and smart HDR because you have more data just coming into the lens.
Mhm.
Um, and it's using the it says that even FaceTime stuff should be a little bit better for that, and it will also have that action mode that we got last year. So some um
Mhm.
nice upgrades, and then it's going to have like some new portrait mode stuff that allows you to kind of zoom in um on device after the photo's taken, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah.
you can have some of that, more of that fake bokeh um going on. um and it seems like they're improving the the portrait capabilities,
Mhm.
both before the shot and after, which is cool, using that 2x
Yeah, I
zoom.
think as long as they start to improve consistency on those things, that is the thing that matters most. Because even now, with a 2-year-old phone that I have, what's amazing is the lack of consistency on portrait mode. You can get great ones sometimes that look flawless. It
Mm,
can trace around hair. It can trace around a leaf of a flower you took a picture of, but turn around 10 minutes from then and you try it again and it's just janky and not that good. So it seems like they're trying to up the consistency with on device processing in the cloud, a little mix of both. But for the most part, they're not leaving it. They're going after it and trying to keep improving it, which is great.
yeah. I agree with you, and I think that's really, really good. Um, this does have the A16 Bionic from this current year's iPhone 14 Pro series. So we can see that, they've definitely leaned into this. The regular models 15s are going to get that last year's chip, and then the Pro models are going to get the new A version of the chip.
Hmm.
Um, Although what's interesting, and I don't know if you're noticing this as we go along, we'll get to USB-C in a second here, but I don't know if you're noticing, you notice how on their little comparison, see at the bottom of the A16 Bionic section, there
Hmm.
it says the A16 GPU is up to 40% faster than the GPU in the iPhone 12.
Yeah, that's an odd
They're
compare, isn't it?
making that comparison a lot. All of the comparisons that I've seen for the
Against an
15s.
iPhone 12?
Mhm.
Oh God.
So
Well,
that's interesting.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Hmm. So here's my thought.
Okay.
Somewhere they have a data point that oh, my dogs are barking. Somewhere,
Sorry about
try
your
it again.
feet.
Not tonight. Somewhere they have a data point that says um, that an iPhone 12 or that many years ago, that is the most likely to trade in. So somewhere they
Mhm.
figured out like 3 years or something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Those are the most likely trades. So those are the people they're going after with these graphics, is my guess. Now, I would not have been surprised if it said the A16 Bionic GPU is up to 40% faster than the GPU in the iPhone 14, because
But
that would
it
seem like a decent incremental upgrade. The fact that it's going back 3 years to make that comparison, it's like, well, how much faster is it than last year's? How much faster is it than a 13? Something newer. Um, 40% in 3 years does not seem like a lot, but yeah,
no,
I don't know.
but keep this in mind, it is a 1-year-old chip already, so it's really 2 years
Mm,
in terms of, yeah, so that's why it's so weird that the they're using that comparison
hmm.
in there, of course it's marketing, so whatever.
Right.
But yeah, right, but it is weird, and you're right, I think I've heard that same data point that you're talking about in terms of
Hmm.
most people 2, if not 3 years, and, um,
Yeah.
for us here, my lady just upgraded to the 14 Pro. Her 12 Pro was giving her fits. So she ended
There
up
you go.
upgrading last month, and I was like, "Oh, it's a bad time to buy an iPhone, but
Yeah.
it's fine. I don't care." I'm like, "Okay,
Decent deals
cool."
during that time. Yeah.
Right.
So,
So yeah,
ah,
exactly. So, but yeah, so it'll be
okay.
interesting to
That
see
was a
it, and
good
then
catch
we'll.
on your part, I have to
Yeah, I
say.
just thought that
I
was
didn't
a
notice some of
nerdy
that.
thing.
Mhm.
Um, so here we are. Finally, we've got it. We can go
Yay.
all USB-C, baby.
Oh my gosh, I've
Bring
been
it.
waiting for this for so long. The only problem is now is like all your legacy devices that you already own. It's going to take a while to phase them out. I mean, not everybody's going to ditch their AirPods Pro to get the new ones that have USB-C. So hang on to those lightning cables for a little while longer.
Right.
But the good news is you've already purchased your last lightning device. So everything here from here on out should either be like Qi charging or USB C. That's it.
Right. And with using the USB-C adapter and the 20-watt USB-C power adapter that you can buy from Apple, doesn't come in the box, but you can buy it. You can charge up to 50% in 30 minutes.
Ooh, that's good.
So,
Yeah.
so that's a little bit of an improvement
Hmm.
versus going forward. So yes, and that's really nice. Also, Wi-Fi 6 on the 15s. And of course, they're all in the US, at least, or North America. They're all
Hmm.
eSIM. They are no longer physical SIMs. So that's nice. Also, one other nice thing that I wrote down here is this emergency thing. If we scroll up just a little bit,
Hmm.
and I don't think we talked about this a lot last year, but the crash detection feature works. I know from experience. And so at that time, I had the Ultra Watch and the 14 Pro, and oh, it works. So
Is that
that's
how
really
you
nice.
called emergency services? Was through that?
No, I did not. Fortunately,
Okay.
I didn't need that. I was able and functional to decline that so that
Hmm.
I could call my people.
Hmm.
Um, but I was glad to know that it does work because if I was incapacitated,
Hmm.
then um, it had my back.
Good.
Um,
And not
but
good
I
that
like
you've had real world experience, but
right.
good that it actually did what it needed to do. That was
Right,
good.
exactly, and that's why I feel like that's why I included it in here because I can speak from personal experience. It works,
Hmm.
and now it's getting even better. You can, with this help of the satellite, you can get emergency SOS via satellite, and you can get roadside assistance, which is really really nice. And so that's great. And then that 911 is really really great too.
Hmm.
Um, I won't be surprised if down the road we can start sending texts. Maybe not, media messages and pictures and all that stuff, but texts. So it's getting better, and I have not yet used the satellite. I did the little demo thing, but
Hmm.
it's really nice. So real quick before we move on to the Pro, let's look at the colors real quick.
Okay.
Um, so on the 15s, we've got 5 colors. We've got pink. Here, let me.
Yellow, straight up yellow.
Yeah, right.
They're not going anything exotic with the naming system this time.
Nope. Nope. We've got green. We've got blue, and we've got black in both the plus and the regular sizes. Um, to me, they're muted, and from what I've heard from the Upgrade podcast, who one of the hosts was on site today at Apple Park, they're very pastel and pretty
Hmm.
pale in person.
Yeah.
But if you notice the camera bump, you see this little injection
Hmm.
of color that they've put in there
Yeah.
to make it stand out. Because of course, everybody who puts this in a case. What are you going to see? You're going to see the camera bump. Well, the camera bump even has that little bit more of vibrance in there that the other.
Well, that's certainly cool. I noticed that they're essentially the same as the iMac colors. So you've got your pink,
For the most
green.
part, you're
Yeah, there's
missing my
no
orange. You're missing my
yes, yellow in
orange.
place. And instead of the silver aluminum, there's black, but the blue, green, and pink look awfully familiar.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and the fact that the yellow was the mid-cycle color for the
mhm.
14s, and now it's a launch color for the 15s.
I think
Interesting.
should be pointed out really quick before we go on that it's an all new chassis and it's an all new design. It looks very similar to the last one, to the 14s,
Mhm.
but it's got a different rounded. It's still very flat on the edges, but it's more rounded than it was. It's not a return to like the iPhone 6 style, but it's more rounded. They're hoping it's more ergonomic and fits better in your hand. I would guess that it feels great. Um, so for those that think, well, it's just another rehash design. Nope, nope. The rounding is more pronounced on this one. I can't tell you the degrees to which it is, but it's an all new design, which also means that your previous cases won't work. So it's time for all new cases if you wanted to go that route. I was actually considering going iPhone naked this time, but we can talk about that when we get over to the pros.
That's an interesting thought, sir. That is a
Yeah.
very interesting thought. Um, because of course, as we make our way to the okay, you're leading with the lead, not bearing it, sir.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, titanium. I mean, what else do we say? It it's about it's about time.
Hmm.
Um, and for me, looking at um how that compares, like I've had the stainless steel watch before. I've had all versions of the Pro phone since the 11 when it first debuted.
Hmm.
And we were looking at stainless steel all the way through. All I can say is, oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Um this is huge, man. This is just um I'm so excited by this. And now having had the watch and stainless, and now of course having the ultra and having that um as an like, man, I'm just, yeah,
It's
give
it,
give me
it's great. What is the back made out of? I cannot figure it out from anything here. Is the back still
the
glass?
back is still the matte glass,
Okay. It's more
because they
matte than
need
it
that.
ever has been.
It's I'm not sure. I mean, maybe you're
Yeah.
noticing something I'm not in that
For a
respect.
hot second, I thought they might have carried the titanium to the back and just colored it differently, but I don't think so. I think it is still the glass on the back. And what threw me
Yes.
off is the little bit of the new camera bump color in there. But I'm wondering, do you think it will be strong enough to go iPhone naked, or do you think uh, you're gonna collect scratches on this? I think titanium would resist scratches. Now they say it's a fingerprint magnet, but it's like every Apple product ever has been a fingerprint magnet, so nothing shocking there. But is it
It's
strong
not
enough that
gonna
you could?
be in terms of the fingerprint issue, I don't think it's gonna be nearly as much as the stainless steel.
Hmm.
Not even close. It is a brushed titanium, a la the Ultra watch. So like, yeah, I can put my finger all over
Yeah.
this and I don't see anything.
Hmm.
And I've never had a case on my watch, but like I'm looking at my Apple Watch and yeah, I ding it, I bump it. I don't
Hmm.
drop it, but I ding it and I bump it, and
Yeah.
I don't see any obvious signs of anything. Um so it's very, very possible. And if you're like me, where on my 14 Pro, uh, I have this clear
Hmm.
silicone thing that I get, the same one for the last several years of, you can throw this on there for just that extra added bit and you're
Hmm.
going to see the color, it's completely
Yeah.
transparent. And you can try. Certainly you can try. If you get Apple Care Plus.
Hmm.
Plus now with the body structure. So it's titanium and aluminum. So certain components of it are going to be aluminum, um, which I think therefore decreases the lightness um, even more. Um, so I'm gonna look in the tech specs because I'd seen some rumors floating around. Um, okay, so um the 15 Pro is going to be 187 grams or 6.6 ounces. The 15 Pro 221 grams or 7.8 ounces.
Hit me with those again, real quick.
So for the Pro, the 6.1 inch 15 Pro,
Hmm.
6.6 ounces or 187 grams.
Hmm.
For the 15 Pro Max, we're looking at 7.81 ounces or 221 grams.
221. Okay, now do you have the 14 handy so we can compare that?
I don't have that handy. I'm looking for that comparison thingy that they normally do. And I'm looking to see if I can find, they have that comparison somewheres or other. iPhone. Here, I'll just click on iPhone. Um,
That's
compare
okay.
phone models. Okay, so we can do 15 Pro and I'll do 14 Pro Max. Okay. So if it will tell me. Okay, all right. The Pro Max is the 14 Pro Max is 240 grams
Mm-hmm.
or 8.47 ounces. So we're looking at a difference of 20-ish grams, 19 grams
That's
between
that's kind of
the
cool.
14 Pro Max and the 15 Pro Max. Okay.
That will be
Plus,
noticeable. You'll notice
right,
that.
right. Plus, you're losing zero point 0.4 inches on the
Mm-hmm.
height and zero point 0.3 inches on the width, although it is slightly deeper by 0.1 of an inch.
Okay.
0.01 of an inch. Sorry, 0.01 of an inch. So there's a difference there. Now, if we compare the 14 Pro to the 15 Pro, we get. So the 14 Pro is 206 grams, 7.27 ounces, whereas the 15 Pro is 6.6 ounces. So not a huge difference,
Mm-hmm.
but a difference.
A difference. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Anything helps.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
okay.
Uh,
Let's go ahead.
so, and I think that to me, like, I mean, certainly the Ultra Watch does have heft to it, but it's still, I can imagine, I could see this being a nice step forward in terms of that overall weight and size.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the titanium, yes, I find the titanium, at least on the watch side, to be nice and durable, and it feels really nice too. So, yeah, yeah, two
That's very
thumbs
cool.
way up.
Yeah, I'm that's not the thing that I was telling you about earlier. The thing that actually surprised me and is now my favorite feature of this phone. That's not it, but the
Okay.
titanium is probably the second thing that will entice me to upgrade is just the material, which is wild. Um uh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, and that's good. A17 Pro
Brand new chip.
chip, but it's a Pro chip. They're calling it the Pro, the A17 Pro. We've ditched the Bionic name.
Yeah,
And
and the X too, no X. They in the
right,
old
right.
days they would have called it the A17X, you know.
Yeah.
So it's Pro, kind of like buying a Mac Mini with a Pro chip in it, or a Max chip in it, or
Hmm. Yes, it's we're looking at and it's really in terms of the base specs, 20% faster GPU. That's nice. That's
oh,
excuse me.
don't die
That's
there,
like
Don. Okay.
no, not dying, just yawning.
Yeah.
That's like a nice like M1 to M2 Mac chip
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
So we're not losing a lot there. Ray tracing is going to be nice for graphical performance. Only 10% faster ish on the CPU side. Interesting. Anything's good. I mean, people aren't grabbing this because they're like, well, I expect this to be 20 to 40% faster. Good luck to you if that's you. Um, but they're really, and they really made a big focus on the GPU, and as calling this
Hmm.
a pro, sort of capable of gaming. And there you go at the bottom, the A17 Pro GPU is up to 70% faster than the GPU in the iPhone 12 Pro. Cool. Awesome.
Great.
Compared to last year,
You're
we'll
probably looking
see
at that 10% increase again, something like that, you
if
know?
we're lucky. Yeah.
But I don't know
s-
what dropping down to 3 nanometers has done, like,
we're
is
getting
this
there.
like when the stock splits? It kinda like,
Mm-mm.
it feels like it's gone down for a little bit, but then the potential to go up is so much greater, so that maybe so much effort was put into the retooling and things that not that much emphasis was put on performance so much as it was going to this new architecture where then they can like maybe over the next 4 or 5 years really start to ramp up performance on this 3 nanometer thing.
Mhm. Sure. And I mean, we'll kind of get to when we get to the battery life section. I mean, the die shrinkage essentially means better performance for sure, more efficient performance, both on um, the way that's not giving off as much heat as prior models, but also extends battery life
Hmm.
compared to previous models. Um, so what does that look like in practice? We'll find out. Oh, but they're
Ooh.
really focusing on the fact that this is a win for gaming. And if in the event video, they talked about playing console quality game graphics, including
Mhm.
Resident Evil 4 and others in there on an iPhone.
You
Okay,
kn you
cool.
know what? They're starting now courting the game people with this. They can use the iPhone as the platform to court these people back with performance, and then they want them to go to the Vision Pro. That's my guess.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what I
That's
mean?
a good thought.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
man.
it's it's a little bit of a setup for the Vision Pro, a product I will probably never own.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, so the camera system does really take a big leap forward this year. Um, so you have the same options as the 14 Pro in terms of a 0.5x, a 1x, a 2x, up to oh my gosh. My apologies, friends. Um, to in 3x performance on the 15 Pro. Um, it's really a nice option. Um, we'll see how it looks in practice. By me, so these photos look stunning. Um,
Question
uh,
is the
yes.
so if you go 1x, the 28 millimeter equivalent, the 1x 35 millimeter equivalent, 1x 48 millimeter equivalent, is are they doing that through some kind of cropping where have
There
to,
is
right?
the actual there. Well, no, because there are the three lenses on the Pro,
Hmm.
whereas on the 15 regular, I mean, there might be some of that. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought because we have the three lenses, at least at the 2x level,
Hmm.
or no, I'm sorry, let me think back. So I think at the 3x level, that's for real, but at the 2x level, it is a crop down.
Okay.
So it's that 2x setting, and I would guess it's gonna be similar here on the 15 Pros, but might hopefully be a little bit better quality. But what we're really looking at is, here we go, we're getting to it. On the 15 Pro Max, you have up to 5x what they're claiming, 5x optical zoom,
Mhm.
um, due to um, how did they explain it? And what's really interesting is I like how Apple's really speaking to photographers and really leaning into the millimeters
Mhm.
measurements of these things, um, because it's a pro model. So why shouldn't you? Um, so um, so with that, um, that's it, the tetraprism um, design of how it's they're not actually building like the original speculation of why it was going to be this only in the Pro Max this time was because it was using the actual bigger body to build a larger chamber to reflect the light. And what it ends up appearing, at least to me, who's not a photographer even a little bit, is it makes room for this tetraprism lens for the light to reflect around as though it's spanning a much larger distance.
Mhm.
Um, not necessarily physically, but in terms of how it comes out. Um, so of course we'll have to see what it looks like in practice. Um, but I mean, it looks great. I mean, on these very, very well edited.
Yeah.
Um,
If you look at this example picture down here, you can even see that some of like the telltale signs of a zoomed in picture. You can see these are a little blown out, and the details around the edges, some of these rocks
mhm.
are a little soft and things like that. So I mean, yeah, we'll see how it looks, but it's still pretty impressive, and nothing can do it now. So I mean, there's that. Um,
On an iPhone, you're right. I mean, of
yeah,
course, Samsung had those crazy 100x zoom things or
exactly.
whatever, and that's just
It's a gimmick, but it's
I'm
if the
I'm
picture
good.
looks good, then it's a good gimmick. Um,
Right.
I want to since we're in pictures, I want to talk about the thing that really captured me today, and let's see if they have something on here about it. They may not. It was so niche that let's see, and it had to do with the fact that they included um, a USB-C port, which we talked about earlier with the 15, but I don't see any mention of it on here. It's the fact that you can connect an external hard drive and record video to it.
Yes, they talk about it the more in the in-depth portrait area, but they did also talk about it on
Okay.
the 15 page.
Okay.
So go on.
Can't find it.
Okay. Um,
If you want to
yeah,
talk about that, I'll try to find an example of it.
so essentially, because of course, oddly, they did not bump the storage to 2 terabytes like they were describing. But yes, you can plug in an external drive and continuously record video at the ProRes level, for as much time as storage will allow. And as you can see, using a USB-C, a Thunderbolt cable, you can get up to 10 gigabytes transfer speed on the Pros this year, which will help to, I mean, um, what is it? And all iPhones, including the 15s, will do it like 280 megabits or 200 megabits a
Mhm.
second or something like that. And now we can do up to 10 gig. Is it as fast as the 40 gigabits of Thunderbolt like we had originally hoped for? No,
Mhm.
it's not. But is it a huge step forward? Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. But yeah, it's kind of nice that you can plug in these external
Yeah.
drives. As we've seen on the iPad, the iOS can read them, and yeah, you can easily
This
use
is
them
to me, this is a
do
bigger
this.
game changer than any other thing on here because, like, even like mid-level content creators out there, people like you and me, people that are recording concerts, people that are recording, uh, things that are more than just like family videos, like things where you actually set up a tripod and now all you have to do is plug in an external hard drive, and the quality with at which I can record a concert or a gig or a performance or something like that is now way higher,
Hmm.
if I bring an external hard drive, because instead of worrying about the last 70 gigabytes that I have on my phone, I've got maybe potentially like a 4 terabyte hard drive that I can plug into that, and I can play with that now.
Hmm.
So that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's great, and you can even plug it directly into your Mac.
Yeah.
So that's really, and you could before, but the offloading capabilities of that seem like they're going to be really great too.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so that's great. Yeah, and for you, I know you're big on recording your gigs and stuff, so that'll
Mhm.
be great. Um, the idea of shooting spatial video. So now we talked about when they talked about the Vision Pro and how what are we only going to be able to capture these videos on this device, and then
Mhm.
well no, iPhone 15 and 15 Pro allow you to capture spatial video um, by combining to the which two cameras, the ultra
Trying to
wide and
find
the
it.
main camera. It's at the bottom of the in-depth camera area. And so it's going to essentially give you more of a 3D video effect on your iPhone. Yeah, so it's all the way at the very bottom. So I mean that's so as opposed to wearing that thing and capturing your kid's birthday party, no, you can actually just use your iPhone and do it. Um, provided that you have an iPhone 15 Pro, um, which is great. Won't be available till later this year, but it is a really nice thing. Um, so yeah, I mean, certainly quite a few camera updates as always. They certainly tend to try to update these things as much as possible. It'll be really interesting to see going forward. What does it look like in practice?
Mhm.
So after what is it, 15 years of iPhone, bye bye mute switch, bye bye.
Yep.
We now have the action button, just like on my Apple Watch Ultra
Mhm.
right here. Except, fortunately, it is color matched. It is not in orange. Okay, I like the orange, so I'm cool with the orange. But
I I would have
it's
been
really
cool with
nice,
orange too. Yeah, that would have been nice.
right? And it would have really gone with all the colors this year. So it,
In fact,
but
I've got an
it,
even better idea than that, which they could have done. They could have included a little tiny screen or a little tiny LED in there that would light up
mm,
orange
interesting,
when it's activated. That would have been cool. Um,
interesting,
eh,
interesting
it's a
idea.
way to improve for the next one, but because what was nice about that physical switch is you could look, and without doing anything, you could just look and see, oh, it's muted. Oh, it's not. Now you have to go in and check some setting to double check that it actually is.
Unless you're me and you live with your phone in all the time silent, and then you
Yeah.
don't have to check anything. Um, so for me, I think now what's interesting is, on the lock screen we have the camera button and we have the flashlight button, and we can access those things from Control Center.
Hmm.
Yet we can access those functions also from the action. Okay, whatever. So we can't customize the software buttons on the screen yet, but we can have yet another thing. But at least you can do other things. You can set your focus mode,
Hmm.
voice memos, set up your translate app, magnifier. You can do shortcuts, which I know a lot of folks like to do, and other accessibility settings, which is really nice.
I can see using the flashlight being a very popular option for people. I think that will be something that many people set because just, looking for your keys or looking, whatever. It's very practical. I don't know. Do you then have to give up the action button as your mute switch if you set it to be the
Correct.
flashlight button?
Correct. By default,
So,
it is your ring and silent mode.
hmm.
But, don't forget, you can put a toggle for that in Control Center too,
Hmm.
if you'd like.
Sure.
Um,
Hmm.
so there's that option. But why in the world? How long ago did they introduce these? And and we still can't customize them. Wha-
No, why would you?
uh,
They have data points, Don. They have data points to say, the thing that people want is a flashlight button. So, yeah,
Whatever.
I know.
So Apple, let us customize the buttons on the home
Hmm.
screen,
Hmm.
please. Especially because you can already swipe right on the home screen and get to the camera or the left or whatever wants to work. Like,
Yeah,
why do we? Why? Why? Okay. Anyway, so I will be setting a shortcut for that. Easy peasy,
agreed.
lemon squeezy. Um, but it's there, and it at least gives more uses, and hopefully down the line, maybe in through iOS, we can
Hmm.
um, find other things, customize other apps too. That would be fantastic. Um, so, so that's really cool. That's all I think on the action button. Anything else for you on that?
No, no. In
Yeah.
fact, we're at about an hour now. I'm thinking, do you want to come back maybe in a week and we recap the watches?
Yeah, I think yeah. So let's finish up the iPhone Pro, and
Yeah.
then yeah, I'm great with that idea because
Okay.
I did lose track of the time. We're about 52 minutes. You're right. So the USB-C, as we talked about, is really
Hmm.
nice, up to 10 gigabytes of transfer speed when plugged into a USB 3 device. Also has Wi-Fi 6E built in, which I now have a Wi-Fi 6E router system here at home, and I think you do as well.
I do.
So that'll free up that that 5G band on Wi-Fi to
Hmm.
have other devices on it. Um, a new second generation ultra wideband chip, because of course the first one was called the U1 chip, but they can't call it the U2 chip in the name of love.
Yeah.
Okay. Or in the name of Bono. Okay. So, so it is now the second generation. And what's really cool is it has precision finding. So you can like if you're like a mall or whatever, you can find your friends wherever they are on the map,
Interesting.
which has been a thing that I have thought would be really cool,
Hmm.
provided that those folks also have a 15 or 15 Pro. So whatever. Um, and and so that's a really nice thing too on this. Now looking at the battery life, okay, so this to me is a nice thing too. So like I mentioned before, part of the smaller 3 nanometer chip architecture is that it more efficient leads to better battery life. So according to these numbers, we're looking at 29 hours of video playback on the Pro Max and 25 hours. Did I read that correctly? Um, for the 15 Pro, which is, anything is better than nothing in that sense. 23 hours, my apologies. Which is a nice bump. And then, of course, as we can see here, it's a big. What is your on your comparison chart right here? What is the one on the far right?
The SE.
The SE. Okay. All right. So it's a huge jump there, but compared to the 14, we'll see how it looks in practice, but it's not a big jump.
I just realized here the 14 they're calling, let's see, the A15 Bionic, A16
Right.
Bionic. Which
Right.
is the
Correct.
A16 in the 14 Pro? Or
The
sorry.
A16 Bionic is in the 14 Pro. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that
And
was the carryover
yes.
from year to year.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. And the same thing. The 14 has the 15 Bionic, which is the carryover from the previous year's Pro.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So, so yeah. So we're looking at, it- we'll see. What I would really like, what I want to check and see is like, um, how does the 15 and 15 plus compare in terms of battery life?
Mhm.
Um,
Well, it says here 26.
right. So it
Oh god, I'm
says
not reading
up to
that.
20. Yeah. So it says up to, you're right. Right. Because it's the same chip. So 26 hours on the 15 plus versus the 29 hours um, on the Pro Max.
Pretty
So
wild that you could just sit there and watch a video for longer than a day.
theoretically,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that is really cool. And of course, color wise, we've got four colors, which are very pro centric colors.
Mhm.
You've got your natural titanium, you've got your
Mhm.
blue titanium, you've got your white titanium, you've
Mhm.
got your black titanium.
Mhm.
Um, so no more gold.
The natural titanium is close. Close.
No, 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 no.
It's the
No,
most
I.
gold out of any of them.
Yeah, it does have the most yellowy tint to it, if there is a yellowy tint to it. But yeah, no, I think it's very much, uh, as compared to the 14 Pro Max, and I look at the gold, like, yeah, no, it's a huge difference. And I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a fan at all, really, but I know people are. So that is quite a
Mhm.
change, especially because you can get the Watch Series 9 in a gold stainless steel still.
Mhm.
Um,
I
so,
I'm
there's that.
unsure which color I will get. If I had to speculate right now, I think I would get the natural titanium color.
Gotcha. 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 Gotcha.
Although,
Uh,
6 of one, half dozen of the other, I kinda like all of them. I mean, they're all fine. I mean, they all look great. Um,
yeah. Whereas with the gold, that was always my last choice option. Like,
mhm.
hands down. I I
It
don't
was a bit
have
gaudy in
any.
the past, yeah.
Right. I don't have any complaints about any of the pro colors this time around. I wish there was something more vibrant, but I mean, in terms
Agreed.
of like looking at it and being like, no, I don't like that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. So I'm sorry. Repeat for me one more time. What color did you say you might go with?
I'd go with the natural, I think, first, and then blue is the runner-up, black is third, and then this white color is least likely to get.
Okay. Um, shocker. Guess what I would choose?
I mean, you'd get the black one for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%, hundred
Then
percent.
blue, then this one, then the white, right?
Yeah, I could go either way with the blue or the natural. I don't have a
Mhm.
particular preference. But yeah, I would say the white's in a very close fourth place. But I'd be fine with it. I've gotten white iPhones in the past.
Mhm.
So I'd be fine with it. Um, so of course, let's talk pricing and then let's
Yeah.
get specific at what we're gonna do, and then let's get out of here. So pricing wise, the Pro did not get a jump in price from last year to this year. It is still starting at $999. Um, which is kind of nice because they're, at least in the US, people were expecting that to get a bit of a jump. It did not. Um, so you've got four options: 128 gigs of storage, 256, 512, 1 terabyte. Again, it's crazy. There's no 2 terabyte option, but
Hmm.
here we are. And of course, if you notice the price delta between the tiers.
Of $200.
$200. I don't remember it being that way with the 14 Pros. I remember it being 100. Maybe it was, and I'm mistaken, but that's interesting. And this year, when you go with the Pro Max, it starts at $11.99, and you get three choices: 256, 512, or 1 terabyte for an eye-watering, how much? 15.99 for
Hmm.
a 1 terabyte iPhone.
Yeah.
Which, shooting ProRes video
Hmm.
at 48 megapixels, you can fill that up pretty fast.
Just get the external hard drive. Just get the
Well,
external hard
that's
drive.
true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. It's, some people are going to complain about that. That's why I'm sort of
Yeah.
surprised that you can't do a 2 terabyte, but that's not us anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um, so yeah,
Mm.
that's a healthy bit. Um, trade-in deals. I've already looked at my 14 Pro. Apple says up to $570 for me on a trade-in.
Hmm.
Um, so not bad at all. Um, so I mean, honestly, it's about what I would. Oh, so you get five for your 2-year-old phone. You get more than my 1-year-old phone.
That's right.
What is that? Just because you have the Pro Max. Okay. I don't regret going with my Pro choice this year, but now that the physical dimensions of the Pro Max is smaller this year
Yeah.
than last year, and still the same screen sizes because they were able to shrink it down, like it's gonna feel more pro and less maxy. So that's kind of nice. Um, so these are going to be available for pre-order starting this coming Friday, the 15th. I don't think they've announced the time on that. The last couple of years, I want to say it was like 7 a.m. for us
Hmm.
here in Central Time. Um, and the phones will be available 5 a.m. Pacific time. So, yes, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for us. You're probably already at work at that point. I'm either at work or on my way to work at that point.
What time is it at?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean it's gonna be a good year for phones.
Yeah.
Uh and so you said you're going 15 Pro Max.
Hmm.
Are you looking at 512, what
I
storage?
probably will be the 512. Yeah.
Gotcha. Uh,
Maybe if I get a little weak in the knees, I might go 1 terabyte. But I would be surprised if I bit the bullet. I usually don't go for the full top banana, but we'll see.
um what do you have in yours now?
Just 256. I usually get the middle one.
Got you. Um, I'm looking in the about section. Oh, it's probably in here. Oh no, it's not in there. It's probably under general and then iPhone storage. Oh, see, I actually have the 512 this year.
Ah,
I'd
there you
forgotten
go.
about that. Um, and I've only used 77.9 gigabytes.
Oh, wild.
So yeah, I think I will be safe
You'll be
going
safe.
256 this year. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go 256. I'm gonna start with
Mhm.
black, titanium, um, and I for the last I have not done launch day in several years.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, I am actually traveling on the 22nd, going down to good old Florida for the weekend. So I will probably end up doing in-store pickup.
Mhm.
So on my way
Oh,
home,
neat. Yeah, that's a good
if we
idea.
can, if that is an option, um, then I will, um,
Snatch one of those.
yeah, I like that option as opposed to getting it shipped to me because then I feel like I won't miss the delivery. I won't miss, I won't be standing around waiting all day, for it to come at night or whatever it's going to be. I'll just go on my way home, quick jog by the store, grab it, hit the road, and be all good. And I highly recommend that option. It's not been the times I did it. It's been super fast in the past. Um, stores kind of have segregated lines for in-store pickup versus people just showing up or whatever. And if you go in the afternoon, it should be good to go.
Yeah. All right,
Um,
man. Well,
so
I think we gotta call it there, and
yeah,
we'll tell the folks maybe in about a week and a day, because next week I have a gig on Monday. But I think maybe in a week and a day or a little week and a half, we can come back and talk watches, because
yeah.
that's
Let's do.
because I may be falling down a rabbit hole of watch stuff too. We'll see.
Interesting. Yeah. So stay tuned to our Facebook page for when we will be recording next. Life gets a little bit crazy, but it is nerd season for us, so we will try to
Right?
get one in next week to discuss the Watch Series 9 and the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Because there's some things in there that it's kind of mediocre, but to me, I'm kind of like, hmm. So stay tuned to
Okay.
that. And thank you all for tuning in this evening. We appreciate your support and certainly look forward to discussing a lot more with you going forward with iPhone and Apple Watch season. Brett, it's been great, man. You take care.
You too, Don. All right. It's fun
Uh,
show. Good ideas out here, and we'll catch everybody on the flip side.
That sounds great, man. You all take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
See you.